Hello and welcome back to another combos video for the channel. My name is Luke Triton and today we are covering the Elite 2.0 Phoenix. This is a long overdue video, let me tell you something. So this is a magazine fed flywheel powered blaster and it has tactical potential out the wazoo. It has a barrel and stock attachment point and rails everywhere. We have 4 up front, we have 2 on the top, 1 on the bottom and 1 on each side. How amazing is that? If this was put together in a much better way and it had modulus on it, then I would love this blaster even more than it is now. But all the same, we have a lot to go through. We have the 3 traditional classes, we have my personal combo, and then we have the gimmick. We always start with the heavy. And this was designed to be very aggressive. You don't necessarily have anything else on you. This is all ready to go to get as much rounds downrange towards your enemy as possible. The barrel is from the Mediator, and this is a 3-dart shotgun that uses a pump system. So you pump this about 7 or 8 times, and the air tank is ready to go. This button on the side here is your trigger. And because this is a flywheel blaster, you have to, spend a moment to get the flywheels ready, and that can basically give away your position. This, on the other hand, can basically solve that issue of not being spotted. So you turn the corner, pull the trigger, hopefully you tag someone, and that's good to go. So this is a flywheel blaster. You want to get as many rounds in your magazine as possible, so the bigger the magazine, the better. I love the 50-dart drop, and that's what this is here. I am still amazed that 2.5 years later, there aren't any individually sold 50-dart drums out there anywhere. Not even by custom people, like 3D printing their own version to refine it. It's kind of bizarre. I suppose it kind of makes sense, but at the same time, people could definitely refine this design because both of the ones I have some kind of feeding issue, but that kind of makes sense given the overall nature of this magazine. But yes, if you're going to be aggressive, you want as many darts ready as possible. Biggest drum magazine is the 51. The stock is the one that comes with the Tri-Strike, and this is the missile launcher stock. And this comes back to the aggressive feel of this loadout. And a bit of protection for yourself is done in the form of the Super Soaker Shield. I believe this is the Lightning Storm one. It has been a while, so I do apologise. But this one in particular is good because it has some translucency to it. Compared to the modulus folding shield, that's a bit smaller, and this is more sideways than it is covering up top. So you can have this in your shoulder, kind of look down sights, well, as much of looking down sights as you can basically permit with this thing in the way. And basically it protects your face if you're not going to run around with a mask. So yeah, all in all, that is my heavy combo. Up next we have the close quarters combo. And this is something I tried to make a bit compact, but that's a bit difficult. If I turn the blaster this way, it's a much more easier way of seeing that this front end of the Phoenix is very tall and chunky, and it kind of gives off its own unique look. So whilst I tried to make this compact, I also tried to work with it, make it a bit more of a smaller rifle. Not necessarily SMG, but small rifle. So at the front we have the barrel attachment that comes with the eagle point, and I think this is one of the best looking barrels ever made. On one of the side rails we have the torch, which is something that a lot of nerfers know. It is a very dim light, but it's very thin as well, so it gives off a nice profile. The magazines I'm using are 20 dart drum magazines. I prefer drums to stick magazines. Technically they're 18s, but you can fit 20 in them and they still perform fine. And this leads on to the grip. So again, for my preference in using drum magazines, it's nice to have them compact, but sometimes, if I turn back this way again, when you go to hold the front end of the blaster, your arm can sometimes bump into the drum. So this grip I'm using is the folding grip. This is something that was seen originally in the modulus line, but it stays outwards like that. This one is because the grip itself is more forward on the attachment itself compared to something that you saw on the Battaliator. That one was more towards the center, this one is much more forward. So now I'm holding this and my arm is completely free of the drum magazine. That's my own preference in the sakes that I'm using drums, but at the same time it definitely works with this case. The optic I'm using comes from the Modulus ECS10. It's a very small, again, nice compact scope. It's surprisingly comfortable to actually look down this one with the arrangement I've got going on here. It's not like the red dot sight where you have to kind of lean up a little bit more. It's actually very well suited for this compact and somewhat more accurate look that I'm trying to achieve here. And as I showed off earlier, having a second drum magazine in the stock, this is the storage stock that comes with the regulator. If you're someone like me who doesn't necessarily have any kit to hold more magazines on my person, you're going to rely on the blaster itself, and this stock is definitely well suited for that. So this, having a good look on camera now, that actually looks quite nice, you know? This is my close quarters combo. And the last of the 3 traditional classes is long range, and this is just as busy, if not busier, than close quarters. This is a bit funky as well for what's supposed to be long range, but let me try and explain this. So at the front we have a small barrel arrangement where it also holds the modulus green laser. I can never get this right. When it comes to turning the laser activating button, I always turn it the wrong way to actually turn it on. But yes, it's supposed to be for the emotional response. It's not necessarily accurate or even bright. But again, it's more for the sniper feel. This isn't necessarily supposed to be a sniper, but again, you kind of work with what you've got. Every sniper needs a bipod. And this one I think is quite cool because it's very thin, it's nothing in the way compared to what the Centurion bipod is like, and it's much longer than what came with the Modulus long range kit. This one I believe came with an AccuStrike blaster that I forget the name of. I think a version of this also came with the Modulus version of the Long Strike too. But all the same, it's a very nice bipod. Moving back to the scope, given what I've gone on back here, I'm using the old N-Strike scope. This was sold with the Elements, I believe, so it's a very old attachment, obviously, because it's original N-Strike. But given the arrangement, again, I think this is very nicely suited, and not every sniper setup needs to have that crazy cool looking scope. Again, it's nice, but again, not necessarily something you should go to all the time. The stock I'm going with comes with the Modulus Ultimate Customizer kit, which was basically the Demolisher reskin. This is a very cool adjustable stock, and it has a number of adjustment settings, and it also has a tactical rail, of which I'm taking advantage of. This is the magazine holder, and it is a very funky attachment. Now, I'm sticking to using a drum magazine because, again, I'm more partial to drums. And this is also a very small and compact drum, so you can get away with having the bipod rest on something, and the drum isn't in the way, and yet that's 20 rounds ready to go. But for the sniper feel, and for the sake of including it, we have a 6-dart magazine. I don't like these, I don't see a point in these existing, but, again, that's just personal preference. So overall, it is very busy and a bit of a mess, if it has to be said, but this is my long-range combo. And now we move on to my personal combo, and this might be the same for personal combos going forward because the attachments I have here are the ones I use for my customized regulator, and these are my favorite attachments. And I think I've used something similar for past combos, so if this is something you're familiar with, you should get the idea going forward all the same. So at the front we have the chrono barrel, and this has been personalized to have a bit of decoration on the side. I would like to try and get another chrono barrel just to keep it clean. But this is a chronograph and an ammo counter all in one, and it's a beautiful piece of kit. I just love it so much. I also love the Centurion bipod because it's very chunky, it looks very cool. I think the colour of grey they've got going on here is also very nice. It's a nice contrast compared to the rest of the blaster, and that in of itself is a very cool thing just to have up front. Going back to what I said earlier, I have the 50 darts drum magazine because this is the best. I mean, it's 50 darts ready to go. That's really, really cool. We also have the Modulus Day-Night Zoom Scope. This is a very cool gadget. I love attachments. It's my favourite thing about the Nerf hobby. And seeing gadget-esque attachments like this is very cool. It may not be the most effective thing ever. It might not be the best, working thing ever. But for me, I think this is wonderful. And I've accidentally just turned it on. Even then, that's a really fun thing to do, just kind of looking down the scope and just seeing a screen. And to anybody who hasn't seen this before, it's a very interesting piece of kit, and I encourage you to go look up reviews because there's too much to say in one go about this here and now. And finally, we have the stock. This is the stock that comes with the Mediator. There's two things I love about this stock. First of all, it's really long, and this length is something I absolutely love. There are a lot of blasters out there where they have stocks, or they kind of have built-in stocks where it's about here, and that's good for kids and younger people, but for me this is much more accommodating. Plus this one, if I can find a way to hold the blaster, has an emergency pistol. So that's pretty cool. This is the sort of thing where I won't carry a backup on me because that is my backup, and it's stored in the stock. It's so out of the way. It's just so well done. It's so innovative and amazing. So yeah, it's kind of its own mess, but this is my personal combo. And now we have the gimmick combo for this video, and this is 2.0. So I now have a fair few Elite 2.0 blasters, and seeing it all come together in this sort of arrangement, it doesn't look that bad because all the colours match, the style matches, and it's really cool. It really does take me back to the days of Modulus. So the barrel and the stock come with the 2.0 Echo. The barrel has tactical rails for days, but there isn't that many in terms of attachments for the Elite 2.0 line. So as the years go on, maybe we have something else to really put on these rails. This is the scope that comes with the eagle point, and again, this is a very cool looking scope. It's a shame I can't quite see through it because the stock, again, also comes with the echo. This chunky bit up here, especially the fact that there's a rail, it gets in the way when I'm trying to aim down sights. I have to, let me see if I can pull this off. So for me, I kind of have to do, okay, so there. That's what I have to do to actually look down the scope. I have no idea what that looks like on camera. I'm going to look like a real dork. But if I try and look down sights properly, I'm looking across the top of the scope, and that's not what I want. But I don't necessarily have the choice. The magazine is an 18 dart stick magazine, but it has that bottom cover that came with the turbine. So technically it's Elite 2.0 as well. Let me quickly explain that. So that is technically a blooper, me doing that. But that's me also getting used to the regulator. Again, that's my favourite blaster, and this sort of arrangement is the other way around. So I may as well keep it in the video because, you know, it's a bit of fun. But all the same, this is not too bad. I mean, it could definitely be better, especially in this back area. But visually, that actually looks quite cool. I am looking forward to seeing more attachments in the Elite 2.0 line because this is simple, and, you know, a grip, a bipod in these colours can definitely make this look cool. So this is, for now at least, 2.0. And there we go, that is it for this video. Thank you all ever so much for watching. The combos video for the Phoenix is long overdue. I don't remember when the Phoenix review went up. It's definitely been months. It was definitely last year as well. Oh my goodness, but to finally get on with it, it feels good. And to play with the Nerf stuff again, it's like, yes, it's so exciting because, again, the attachments, putting them all together and making these combos videos, it's the most fun thing ever for me. So, thank you all ever so much for watching. Be sure to keep an eye out on the community tab for polls and updates. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you all in the next episode. Bye-bye.